What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Mill. Jay Mill, if you like. So let's get into it. I want to start off before we get into our schedule. So I'm going to be breaking down the Bengals offense against the Cowboys defense and kind of seeing what kind of matchups Cowboys might be able to exploit or get exploited via. But before I get into that, I just want to say a sad day today. Zach Martin having season-ending ankle surgery. Zach Martin's one of the better players I've watched in the entire time I've been watching the Cowboys, which at this point has been since I was a child. So long time. I've got to watch Larry Allen play. I've got to watch Tyron Smith through his entire career, start to finish. Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Andre Gerard, Flozo Adams. Just go down the list of, Eric Williams, Nate Newton, Mike Stepnoski, just all the awesome Cowboys offensive linemen that have played throughout history. And Zach Martin deserves to be mentioned right up there alongside of any of them. So it's interesting. I don't want to be too reflective. I know that sounds reflective, but I do think there's a solid chance that he retires. So, I just wanted to get that off my chest. But, if he does come back, I don't know if it'll be in the Cowboys uniform. There's some challenging financial situations as well as, some things he might be able to command on the open market where at his age, the Cowboys, if they were being a smart organization, might not necessarily want to go that way. It's nothing against Zach Martin. Zach Martin's a freaking man. We all love him. But it's one of those times where it might be a little bit of time to move forward and turn the page if he still wants to play. And if not, whole entire career as a Cowboy would be awesome. Then retire as a Cowboy and, just kind of ride off into the sunset. Hopefully get your body right. I know he has his family together and he has a lot of hobbies that he likes to do in his downtime. So hopefully he gets to do some of that. And, maybe a future as an offensive line coach for the Cowboys. But that's neither here nor there. Just wanted to give love to Zach Martin. He's awesome. He's up for Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is also awesome. A lot of players in the NFL view that as the most prestigious award you can get. That's for you doing charity work, giving back to your community, making sure that people that are less fortunate than you are able to use some resources to better themselves, using your platform and just being an all-around good guy, not getting in trouble, whatever it is. Just a combination of multiple things. So, the Cowboys in their past have had a few guys win this award. Dak Prescott won Walter Payton Man of the Year. Jason Witten won Walter Payton Man of the Year. The Cowboys have had this award, I believe, 4 different times within their franchise. So it's very prestigious and awesome to see Zach be nominated for that. But now let's get into the nitty gritty. Cowboys have the Cincinnati Bengals this week, and this is going to be a tough one. The Bengals offense is amazing. I don't know what to make of this team, and I don't know what to make of what's going to happen in this game. And the reason why is, as we'll see in a minute, the Bengals offense is explosive, right? They can just score from anywhere on the field. They have a terrific quarterback. Joe Burrow is awesome. They have some terrific wide receivers between Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But then they have some also lesser-known guys like, Chase Brown that make plays. So it's just interesting. But on the same side of that, their offensive line can have some issues as far as protection is concerned, which makes it all the crazier that Joe Burrow has had 30 touchdown passes this year compared to 5 interceptions. So he has some challenges up front, but he's still able to make plays. And I really feel like this is, even though the Dallas Cowboys defense over the last couple of weeks has been playing a lot better and they've been a lot more disciplined, and honestly, the offensive line trouble of the Bengals matched up with the pass rush of the Cowboys does make me think that, hey, at least there's somewhere in this matchup that the Cowboys have an advantage on, right? especially if they get Trayvon Diggs back this week to pair with Deron Bland, and then you have Jordan Lewis, and then you have, Izzy McQuamu as your fourth guy off the bench. I mean, that matches up well with almost any receiving crew in the league, but the thing you can't account for is Joe Burrow, man. He can make plays. And even though Micah Parsons might have a dominant day where he gets 10, 11, 12 pressures, if Joe Burrow drops back 40 times, he's still going to be able to get that ball off. And when he gets that ball off, it's going to be up to the Cowboys secondary and their linebackers and their linemen, basically everybody rallying to the football. You have to rally and tackle in this game. You cannot be lazy with your tackling. We'll take a look at what being lazy or not being in the right position will get you. So as you see here, you got the Bengals, right? They started off in a 4 wide receiver set, and the Baltimore Ravens match that with nickel, right? And they have a guy down in the box as far as the safety is concerned, just to kind of make things a little bit more difficult on the Cincinnati Bengals defense. On their offense. As you see at the start of the snap, Jamar Chase, he's motioning across the formation. So the Bengals have five wide receivers out in the route, and Jamar Chase is motioning over to the other side, right? So as he's motioning, a lot of times what this is a tell for the quarterback, right? I think I might explain this in the season, but throughout the season when we've done these videos. But a lot of times the quarterback is looking to see if the corner follows the wide receiver, right? Or if the corner stays put and the defense just kind of does a little bit of a shift. If that happens, then the quarterback knows, hey, this is zone coverage. If the receiver gets followed by the corner, then the quarterback knows, hey, this is man-to-man coverage. Now, that'll dictate what kind of routes you want to run, what kind of checks you make in protection. So if he knows it's a zone coverage, and I kind of know what play is coming here, so I'm cheating a little bit. But certain plays are more favorable to zone coverage, right? You've got your throws if it's a cover 2, which this is not. You've got your throws into the pockets here. Single high, it might rotate the cover 2 on the snap of the ball. It might rotate the cover 3, cover 4. It'll give you different zones and different routes that you can go with. But Chase goes in formation here. He's in motion. All right. So now there's 3 wide receivers to the top. Still 5. So let's see what happens. Joe Burrow gets a good look. He likes what he sees. Boom, we're going to snap the ball. So now, on the snap of the ball, the Ravens bring 5 guys, right? And they drop 6 into coverage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right on the line of scrimmage. You can see them all here. They're coming. And the Bengals actually do a pretty decent job of blocking it up. Now, Jamar Chase did a motion out here, but he did a motion. Normally when he's going to motion, you're thinking, man, he's going deep. So this guy's looking at him. This guy is looking at him. But instead, he kind of flares back here, right? Okay, so now we have a nice little flare screen to the wide receiver screen, smoke route. They have a whole bunch of different names for it. All the same play. So Jamar Chase gets the ball. Now, when he gets the ball, you're looking right here. He's got a couple of good blocks out in front of him. This guy's got a pretty good angle on him, and this guy's got a pretty good angle on him. So you're thinking, okay, the nice play here. He's probably going to get to the marker here, and we're going to have to get him down. So Chase gets skinny. He gets through the hole, outruns the guy. This guy actually took a poor angle, right? By the way he was being blocked, you would think he would have actually started scraping over the top there just a little bit earlier. When he's here, he's probably trusting himself. He's saying, I got the speed. I see what this play is. I can just go get it, right? But then after a couple steps, he goes, shit, I can't go get it. So now I got to scrape over the top here and try to beat him to the spot. But because he made that little subtle move, he's late. He's late. So now Chase is out. So now it's up to this guy in the open field. These guys are trailing the play. This guy, the angle he's taking, he might get him here. The angle he's taking, he might get him way out of the screen. But this is now not looking good for the Baltimore Ravens at all unless this guy makes a great tackle. What happens? He broke down a little early. And you'll see NFL players do this quite a bit, right? Boom. So he broke down and he stopped his feet. Chase is already making an inside move here. And now the angles look worse. The angles look worse for these guys. Now, if you are seeing, right, because this guy's looking, he should be able to see boom, boom. This is where my help is, right? These guys are on the ground. And I need to try to force this guy into my help, right? So I've got to attack either outside shoulder or outside hip. And you don't have to bring him down. You just have to slow him down so the rest of your teammates can get there. But that doesn't happen. So let's roll the play. And now it's over. The play is over. It's done. It's done. He's going. He's taking it to the house. He's grittying. You know, guy gets almost. Darn. You know, it's over. It's over. That's a touchdown, 70 yards, Jamar Chase. And that's the type of thing that the Cowboys are going to have to be very mindful of this week. And that's what I mean taking good angles and good tackling. So we'll take a look here, right? And you can see very similar situation with the Cowboys. The Atlanta Falcons have 5 wide receivers. Cowboys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like they're going to rush 5 and drop into coverage. So this is very similar to what we just saw and how the Bengals were being attacked on defense. And it, you know, very similar result, right? Boom. So instead of Mooney didn't quite run it because we saw Chase kind of run it out here. But we already see these guys being picked. Now, you would think that that's a flag. But it's not, because at least the wide receivers acted like they were trying to run a route. And Trayvon Diggs gets caught up in the mess here. So at the alignment of the snap, right, you would say, hey, I'm Trayvon Diggs. I've got that guy. The other two have got the other guys in the line of scrimmage. I got Mooney. So when Mooney goes inside, again, just similar to how we talked about the cornerback after the Jamar Chase caught the ball, like kind of scraping over the top here to make sure that he was in position to make the tackle. Trayvon Diggs has got to scrape across the top here, and he maybe not so aggressively, right? Because, you know, you want to make sure that this guy doesn't get behind you. So maybe you just scrape straight across here, and then, you know, you follow him up. But no, he gets caught up in the trash. Mooney gets the ball, nice and short. Cowboys, miscommunication, no chance at catching that guy. And then the Atlanta Falcons go up. Cowboys have to play chase ball the whole time, right? Chase ball, no pun intended, but they do. They got to chase the score, chase the game for the entire rest of the game, right? So now let's take a look over here. So again, we know Jamar Chase, we know he's a beast, we know Joe Burrow, we know he's a beast, but they also have another guy by the name of T. Higgins, who's also a beast, right? So this is why the Cowboys are going to have to be extremely disciplined on defense this upcoming week. So this is the Bengals playing the Browns, right? And they have a 4 wide receivers at this time. The running backs in the backfield. One of the receivers line tied to the line of scrimmage, and the Cleveland Browns match it with a nickel defense once again. But the Cleveland Browns are playing a little bit more aggressive, right? This guy's giving this guy no breathing room. This guy's right up on this guy, too. He's giving him a little bit of cushion. You know what I'm saying? Linebackers are here. Safety's kind of checking things out, walking around, still trying to, you know, make sure he leaves some confusion. So how do the Bengals attack it? So the Bengals see it. I don't see any motion. Boom. So no motion. So before the last play, we saw Jamar Chase run down to give either a zone or man coverage. This time, Joe Burrow loved what he saw right off the rip. So he said, you know what? No motion. Let's just go with the play. So now you see the pass rush is here, but they're not really putting pressure on Joe Burrow just yet. He's gotten to the back of his to the top of his drop. He's on his back foot. Running back looking like he's going to step up here, take on that guy pretty easily. So what happens? Joe gets the ball out. So now ball's in the air here. But you got the guy here, T. Higgins. He's breaking in. You got this guy in bracket coverage, right? So you're thinking, okay, we can get a couple yards. But T. Higgins immediately. So they're still bracketing, and he turns it immediately upfield. And I don't know why. I mean, if we're just being honest, I don't know why they're bracketing Mike Gesicki. I don't know why. There's no reason to. But they did. That's the coverage the Browns chose to make. T. Higgins, boom, all the way to the house. Poor design by the defense, right? Poor defensive coordinator design. Poor defensive play. And then just him making an explosive play to put pressure on the defense immediately. You saw when he caught it, he got north and south. We actually saw something similar last week from CeeDee Lamb, but it was a drop. He had a pass coming in. It looked like he was like, "Oh, I'm about to catch this and get up the field," and then it just bounced off his hands and hit the floor. But this is what I meant when it was like, "Hey man, if he would have caught that pass, he probably could have took it to the house." You see T. Higgins, he takes it to the house. He gets that ball in his hands. He gets north and south. As long as he doesn't drop it, it's a problem. So it's not just Jamar Chase, and it's not just Joe Burrow, but it's also T. Higgins. So you got to be careful here. It makes it tough because if you double, you say, "I'm going to take Chase out of the game," then and leave it up to Higgins to beat me. The problem is it's not just Higgins beating you. It's Joe Burrow beating you as well. That quarterback is amazing. He's outstanding. He's going to be able to get the ball to other different players. He's going to get the ball to different receivers. If you just leave the rest of the guys one-on-one, he's going to pick you apart all day. You almost have to play the Bengals straight up. Like, you almost just have to play them straight up. You probably have to pick the times that you're rolling coverages. You're not going to fool this guy, right? He's been in the league for a few years. He's an avid film studier, so you're not going to fool him with trap coverages and different things like that. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's only got 5 picks to 30 interceptions. I mean, do the math, man. Do the math. That's 6-1. 6 touchdowns for every interception. So he's not going to turn the ball over on you. You're gonna deal with this team averaging 30 points a game, this quarterback being very smart and not being fooled. So let's take an example of the Cowboys doing like one of the right things in this situation, right? So take a look now. You see the Commanders. You got Jaden Daniels there. He's in a pistol formation with the running back right behind him. You got a wide receiver and single set up at the top, and then you got 3 tight ends down at the bottom, right? So the Cowboys match it with an also heavy set. They've got 8 guys in the box because they're expecting run. Instead, boom, quick pass out to Terry McLaurin. Now this guy, one-on-one, he has to make a tackle. Michael Parsons is coming, right? Safety's deep, he's coming. But this guy has to be relied on one-on-one to make this tackle because the numbers on this side of the field tell me that if he misses that tackle, McLaurin's going to the house. Or he's at least getting in the red zone. So let's see what happens. You got Jordan Lewis, boom, wraps up. He doesn't break down too early and makes a nice, sure tackle. This is the type of thing we need to see against the Cincinnati Bengals. Jordan Lewis out in space making tackles like that. Deron Bland out in space making tackles like that. Izzy McQuam out in space making tackles like that. And Trayvon Diggs, if he plays, you got to get your guy to the ground. You got to be pretty sure-handed. That's an example of the Cowboys doing the right thing, playing it correctly. They might have gotten thrown off by the numbers based on the alignment by the Commanders, but it didn't matter because they were fundamentally sound. One of the things we're really going to need this week. So now let's take a look because everybody always thinks, hey, it's the Bengals. It's 100% the passing game. We don't got to worry about nothing else. I'm here to tell you, you got to worry about something else. Now, the Bengals' offensive line isn't necessarily awesome, but any offensive line in the NFL can get things going when you let them fire off the ball in the run game and get a hat on the hat and try to blow some people off the ball and see what they can do. So here's a particular series right now. You got 5 down linemen, tight end. You got the running back lined up. Joe Burrow's in the shotgun. Ref needs to get the hell out of here. He's taking his time, but he's finally out of there. Joe Burrow's hand signaling. He sees the numbers. The Chargers match it with 6 guys in the box. A little motion on the beginning for some eye candy. Boom. So right now, it's not blocked up necessarily great, right? This guy looks like he has a chance at the tackle. This guy probably looks like he has a chance at the tackle, but he kind of doesn't just because of the way 64 is bearing down on him. So, and this guy's out of the play completely. So it's this guy. He's got to shoot the gap. And then you would expect this guy to kind of take an angle down this way. This guy scrape over here to fill the hole. And boom, you might have like a 6-yard gain. What happens? Oh, Chase Brown. Oh, Chase Brown. He gives a nice stiff arm in the hole here. We love it when our running backs, just in general, as a football fan, I'm not talking about like the the Cowboys running backs, even though Rico does his thing. But I'm just saying, just watching football, you love to see the running back make a nice move in here, get a guy that hand to the face, let him know, papaya. And then that's it. Now he's up the field. He's not going down. He's still going. Looks a lot like the boy they let go that's in Houston, Joe Mixon, right? And boom, gets down the line for 27 yards. So again, one of those things. Cowboys have had trouble in the run game all year long. They've been better the last couple of games, but they haven't faced an offense as explosive as this since they played Philly, right? This offense is explosive. So now we're going to take a look what happens when they play another running back. I told you who he reminded me of, so here we go. And that was interesting by Houston. So Cincinnati got the ball to the line of scrimmage. They played it very calm, cool, relaxed, very deliberate. And difference here, Houston, they get to the line immediately soon as Stroud is under center. Snap. Let's freaking go. So now Mixon's got the ball over pursuit already by the Cowboys. Bad run integrity. He's on the ground. So you're thinking this guy has to take an angle here. And this guy should be kind of stepping back a little bit because he's going to be the last line of defense. We need Donovan Wilson right now to have a freaking hair on fire, head full of steam down that way. But it doesn't happen. This guy takes a bad angle because he's the last line of defense, but he doesn't think he is. So he just goes down and just does whatever the hell he wants. And that's kind of been the Cowboys' problem. Boom, north and south, Trayvon Diggs, you're not catching them. Donovan Wilson, you're not catching them. All of a sudden, touchdown in the end zone, bad play. Cowboys now are down, and they're fighting back. They're fighting against the clock. They're fighting against the score that whole game. So just some of those things that we're going to be seeing from the Cincinnati Bengals offense. They're going to run some of these similar run plays. They're going to run some of the similar pass concepts. I mean, I don't know if you all been keeping track, but your boy's been pretty on point every week with this game plan and kind of what the people are going to do against us. And similarly, when the Cowboys have done some of the things that we talked about and covered, like we're covering now, in their game plan, they've been successful. So, honestly, it makes me feel better because in the beginning of the season, I was saying, I know if I see it, then they see it. So now it makes me feel like at least they're seeing it. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's all I got for you guys tonight. You can follow me on Twitter at JMillerIYL. That's JMiller if you like. You can also hit me up at knockersonthebottom@outlook.com.